Hello, hello.
Hey everyone.
Happy, what day is it? Thursday?
It is Thursday.
Thursday. Feels like Saturday, Monday, Tuesday.
It's all starting to feel the same.
Got some quarantine roots happening here, but he's looking rather dapper in his quarantine beard. We are so excited to come back. As we promised last week, we only got through some of our questions and lots of people had extra questions, so we're hoping that can happen again. We're going to give people a few minutes to hop on. I'm going to kind of close out and come back again to see who's hopping on.
Oh, there you
we've
go.
got one, and then I think Instagram was fine last time. Yeah, so hope everybody's doing well. Let us know, give us a shout out where you're watching from. Are you working? Are you home?
Nice.
Okay, sorry, I said like connection was lost for a second there, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
So we had a ton more questions last time too, so it kind of made it more fun, but we didn't get to all the other questions that were asked, the last few weeks, but we get, usually it's probably between, I would say 25 to 50 calls, text messages, and messages per day. So it adds up quick, and it's hard to keep track of all the questions, but really it boils down to just the same handful every single time, which we started touching on last week. So it's kind of fun. We invited a bunch of friends to come check it out too. So if you've got some questions on how this works, now's the time to ask.
Yeah, and Joe came up with a great idea last time too, was some of these questions that are so popular, we're going to go back through, which we haven't done all of them, but the very number 2 question it was about the down payment. We went through and figured out what time you can go back and look, and we need to go back and do that for maybe a couple other questions, but we've also got it saved here, so if you have anyone interested, you want to refer them back to that, that'd be great as well. Hi, Chris. Okay, if you're on Facebook, and can you just drop a comment, even an emoji, just say hey. I just want to make sure we're getting the comments through. Technology can be. So
Last time it wasn't working, and then all of a sudden it started working.
Yeah, so I don't know. Awesome, thanks for tuning in. All right, so the last question, I don't remember if we really even touched on it or if we even said anything. So the question we're going to start with today is, how do we choose locations?
Well, we choose locations from you most of the time.
That's our favorite.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I have a neighbor who's got a house for sale, or someone reaches out to us right on one of our sites and says, hey, I've got a house, or I have a neighbor, or I have a friend, or a family. It's referrals. That's how it usually happens. We do buy houses on the market. Over the years, we've bought in short sales, we bought foreclosures, we've bought right from individuals. So it all depends on the situation. But with that being the case, there's all different types of ways, and there's all types of situations and places that we looked for. So, we're constantly looking. We try to find somewhere in Monroe County or the surrounding counties. Is usually helpful. We get leads all the time from, I've got a house in Elmira or super far out there, which I guess we could look at it, but really we try to say our bread and butter is Monroe County and the surrounding counties, whether it's Ontario County, Wayne County, Livingston, or Orleans, any one of those places. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Joe was saying, referrals are huge. I know last time we shared our story about the condo, how we ended up getting that from my hairdresser's friends who were randomly moving to Hawaii, and they just wanted out. And we also have had people who they became accidental landlords, or perhaps even they were in the middle of a rehab and things just weren't working out, and they needed some help, and that's where we're able to come in and kind of work something out, and really it just works out beautifully.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just fun to do too. It's fun to have a house that we've taken that was really just, some of them are beautiful. Some of them are coming in quite a mess, and just turn them around and make it now from the ugliest house on the street to one of the nicest houses on the street. And what that does for the impact of the neighborhood, the community, it's huge. So we love doing that too. It's fun.
Absolutely. So then kind of following up with that, people are asking, how often do we buy more properties?
All the time. It really depends on right now with this coronavirus. Some folks are looking to hold on a little longer. Some folks are, want to sell now, but because of the virus, they want to stay put. So it's a little different. We love to buy 1 to 2 a month is our goal. So referrals, once again, we pay out $500 for referrals. So if you know anybody who's selling a house, and we actually buy the house, we pay you an extra $500 just as a little attitude bonus or a referral bonus, but it's more of an attitude bonus, I would say.
Yeah, we're trying to put together a good little video to kind of showcase that, because you might be driving by a house that could be available and you didn't even realize it. So we just want to kind of go over a couple ways that you could help share some homes with us. I see a bunch of people hopping on. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
And I see a question that came through. Do you have any more properties available? Rent to own, of course.
Yeah, we've got that one in Greece right now. It's funny, if we had an open house like the old days, we could have had that gone, I would think, the first weekend or the first week. With this coronavirus going on, we've been really getting to more of a virtual showings. And if somebody really has, we've talked to them a few times and they really sound like it's going to work for them, we can set up a showing where we don't even have to even be there. It works out great. So we really want to make sure we take advantage of the social distancing and work around that. And so we've actually come up with a brilliant system on how to do that. And that's been really successful as far as getting a few folks in there to see these houses. So yeah, we have that one in Greece right now. We're actually looking at a few as we speak, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I was gonna wait until the very end, but maybe people come and go. I'm gonna maybe ask it a couple times here. So we were gonna ask a question to you guys. So if you're on now, and you might not be able to stay the whole time, we'll be about a half hour here. But where are you looking? If you're looking for a rent to own right now, what areas of Rochester are you partial to? Are you thinking that it might be a great place to raise your family? Or maybe you're done with the kids and you just need a smaller house? We're looking for homes, and so we need to know, what is it that you're looking for?
A beach house?
Could it be a small little country home over in Spencerport? Are you looking for a condo living? Again, that whole HOA kind of takes care of everything for you. What else have we had?
I mean, you could even go out to Victor or Pittsford, Brighton, any of those areas. Just pop in if there's a certain spot you like that you want to find some houses, put it in the comments below, and we can start looking in that area.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll hear they need a minimum 2 bedrooms, because of a large family, or they're looking for maybe 4 or 5 bedrooms and I don't know what I said. 2 bathrooms. What did I say?
You said 2 bedrooms for a large family. I was like, wow.
That makes sense, right? Everybody's going to share a room and...
Bunk beds.
No, I meant 2 bathrooms. That seems to be the kicker here. 2 bathrooms and 4 to 5 bedrooms, which is a big house. So, we're just trying to figure out, we need to put it out there. What is it you're looking for so we can find it? Hopefully not 2 bedrooms.
Not for a big family anyways.
Oh goodness, I needed this. I needed to talk to people, even if I can't see you. This feels so nice. So Joe kind of led us right into the next question. What we've been asked is how are we operating during the coronavirus? And I kind of look at this question a few ways. And like Joe mentioned, we've kind of mastered this way of being able to have the social distancing approved method.
Yeah, and I think that with answering a few questions that we'll have, pretty simple. And if it sounds like we can send you a lot of videos, we can send you a lot of pictures. And if it's something where, this is exactly, maybe you've done a drive-by the house and everything seems to line up well, we have a lockbox on the door. We can give you the combination, and you can go in there and help yourself and take a look around. It's usually what I have you do is just text me a copy of your driver's license and say, here it is, and let me know what time you're coming, because I have a bunch of the neighbors who have been looking out for the property who are awesome folks. So I don't want anybody coming over to your window. The first time we actually bought that house, one of the neighbors, they're awesome, called the cops on us. She didn't see the house because we just had a newborn, and I think we went grocery shopping that night. We had a sitter.
Yeah, I think my mom was up visiting, and so, she's like, leave me with the grandbabies, and, our big date night out was, I think, BJ's, and then we hit up the house to check it out, and...
We just walked around the house. There was no power, so I had, my flashlight, my phone, and we come out, and the neighbor was like, what are you guys doing here? I'm like, well, we just bought the house. They're like, oh, well, we just called the police on you, and here come the Grease police, so...
So yeah, I was like, oh no, but obviously we weren't doing anything wrong. But it was a short sale, which I then learned there's nothing short about those.
No, it took 9 months of waiting.
Oh my goodness, that's a story for another day if you want to hear about a short sale. But either way, this is the beautiful home that we now have available. So there's lots of stories to go along with it. It's just waiting for the perfect buyer. I know he or she, the family, whomever is going to move into this is just going to love it there. But we just haven't stumbled across that person yet.
Right.
Hopefully, maybe you're watching. So If you know anybody looking to live in Greece, it is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, so certainly let us know in the comments as well.
And the neat thing, it's at the end of a dead-end street. I think there's probably 8-10 houses beyond that.
Yeah.
So there's really not a lot of traffic. So I think that's why it's more of everyone's looking out for each other. It's pretty quiet. A lot of trees along the street. So it's beautiful. It really is. It's nice.
Yeah, and it's close to everything, which is really handy. I mean, typically, obviously, right now, speaking of the coronavirus, we're not really going out and about. And the other way I kind of took this question where it says, how are you operating? Personally, we've kind of taken the stance of, there's a time and place, video games and, reading extra books, but, it's not the time where we're going to Netflix and chill. We know that there's people out there, they need houses, and there's also people that need to sell their homes, so we haven't stopped. And not only did those people rely on us, but we've got 2 little ones here as well. So I just kind of want to put that plug out there. Be your best version of you, and just keep going at it. I know it's a tough time, and he's like, why do you put on makeup? Even the kids are like, why are you getting fancy? Because I like to. I miss date nights. We're going to maybe grill some steaks afterwards, and I might treat it like a date night because you got to be positive right now.
Right. Day number 40 almost, so
I gave up, I think, in the end of the 20s. I'm like, okay,
in the beginning we had a video every single day,
so funny.
like day 5, and then like day 20 something it lasted.
We lost track. Now I just take photos and try to enjoy as much time as possible. All right. Hopefully we didn't lose Instagram, but all right. Moving on to mortgage questions. What if I am already qualified for a mortgage?
Great news. Good. So you can move in now. So sometimes a mortgage could take up to 60 to 90 days before you go through the entire process and actually close on the property, get the keys, and you're able to move in. Now, some folks might want to move in a little earlier than that. So with this, we could do it little as a week. We've actually done one where it was like the next day. I called up the attorney's office. We got it in a spot the next day. Papers were signed. Keys were given that day. As far as that goes, if sometimes people just want to get out sooner, sometimes you sold your house or some other reason. So if that's the case, we can get you in there sooner, and you can get that mortgage and sign all that paperwork down the road whenever you want.
Yeah.
It could be 1 or 2 months, which some folks will want. It could be 6 months later. It could be a year later, whatever you want to do.
Awesome.
Or just buy the house.
Right, that's always an option. Question 5 here was, what can I do right now during the Rona? Okay, again, we're in this funky time period. And what is it that I can do to work towards owning a home? So what's like the number 1 advice you think you would give people?
Working from home?
You're reading comments. You weren't even...
Well, I'm reading a comment.
I know, it's weird. So would you start a watch party or something? I don't know. Either way, we've got extra questions down here. So during this time, they want to own a home. Okay. But they can't get qualified for a mortgage. So what can I do maybe while I'm at home to try to work towards getting into a new house?
So you want to start buying a house down the road. The first thing you're going to want to do, and right now is probably a good time, because if you have extra time, is pull your credit report. Get a copy of your credit report. The banks are going to do it. Credit Karma's good. They'll give you a gauge, but you could go, and what I would really recommend doing is getting all 3 credit reports pulled, which is going to be an Equifax, a TransUnion, and an Experian. Because what a bank will do is they're going to pull up all 3 credit reports, and they're going to do a tri-merge, which they're going to kind of do a blend of all 3 credit reports and 3 credit scores. Sometimes you'll have some items reporting to 1 or 2, but not the other. So sometimes you can find things good or bad on a different credit report. That's why they pull all 3. That's why you should too. You should pull all 3 credit reports, and you should see what's on there. And now's the time where if you have to dispute something, write that dispute letter. Get it done now while you're sitting home. If you're laid off from work, or you maybe split shifts now and you have a few extra hours on your hand, now's the time to start doing that stuff. Because once you start cleaning up those errors in your credit, really it's credit, income, and down payment, and making sure you're finding a house in your budget. That's the real key to success. My previous job and what I still do is I was in the finance field, so I've gotten 15 to 20,000 people loans before, and I've also done tons of mortgages myself. So I know how the process works of credit, just about as good as anybody else you'll see out there. And those are going to be the main factors of making sure you want to get done. So number one, while you are home right now, if you do have that extra time, pull your credit report, find out what's on there. If there's some things that you want to pay off, now's the time to do it. Call the bank, see if there's something that you could work out, negotiate it, if it's maybe a past due bill or something like that. But we could go on that later on, but that's what I would do.
So you're basically saying take action. So if I pull my credit report and I'm like, holy moly, it's kind of a low number, now what? Are there coaches out there? Is there some way somebody I could talk to?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of great folks out there who can help you with that. I've got a list right here that are local. So there's a few that will actually have different courses. Some are, very inexpensive. All of them usually under $100, but Credit Consumer Counseling of Rochester is one of them. NeighborWorks is the one we've talked about before. There's a third one, Pathstone Corporation. I guess all three of those, and they've got offices, it seems to be all throughout the city, even out in Canandaigua, Batavia, Rochester. So between those three, those are good resources where they're usually very low cost or sometimes free to you. And that's what I would do. I would contact one of those folks and say, I want to get a house in another year or two, and what do I need to get done on my credit report? They'll have you pull your credit report, and then you can bring it down, sit down with a counselor, a credit coach, and they're going to go over some steps. There's some classes you could take. There's a few where they kind of round up a bunch of banks, and you get to chat with all of them at once. So there's a really good program right now that the First Buyers Club, they have a new program out, which it looks like right now from some of the reading I've been doing, you can get close to $15,000 if you qualify. So there's a lot of grants that are government paid grants that are free if you qualify. So these folks right here will see which ones you qualify for. Sometimes there's even grants through your employer that you might not know that are out there that these folks know of. So that's why I always say is get with one of these guys who are going to be able to sit down with you, review your credit report, and kind of give you the direction of if there's any free money out there. Excuse me. If there's any free money out there, and take advantage of that.
Awesome. So you're kind of saying if you've got maybe not so great credit, need to work on that, but also there's first-time home buyer programs. That was a question. Do we have one personally? We do not, but Joe was just explaining. What I'm going to do is we're going to post this underneath with this information so you guys have it. You can contact these agencies and be able to kind of work with them that way.
Yeah, and we'll get that out to you guys, so we'll put it right in one of the notes so you can see that.
Yeah, we'll just put it in the comments.
These are the ones to talk to about that. And the neat thing about while you're working all that out, while you're working through your credit, while you're working for whatever it is, the neat thing about our program, you could already be living in your house.
Yeah.
While you're working out those kinks. And that's the benefit of rent to own. And that's why a lot of folks love it, because maybe you're tired of moving around. You want to have something where you could have your own roots and settle down. This program will let you move in now, pay rent until you're working through this out, and then once it's time to get a mortgage, now you've already just signing some forms.
Absolutely, and kind of leads us into
A whole bunch of forms, though. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot with us, but once you go to the bank.
It's like a small, with us it's easy,
Yeah,
but with them it's like a phone book.
Yeah, I remember. The minimum credit score for a first-time homebuyer. Now, as I say that, the credit score has nothing to do with us and our program. We can work with bad credit, no credit. We talked about that last video. But this is now you're in the house, you're working, you're a first-time homebuyer, you're renting to own the home. What's the minimum credit score do you think a bank is going to need?
So, once again, moving into one of our houses from the beginning, you could have good credit, bad credit, it doesn't make a difference. The bigger thing is with a bank, that's going to be completely different. There's a lot of different banks, there's a lot of different programs that are out there. Ideally, you're going to probably want your credit score to be around that 620 and higher, where you're going to want all three of them to be over that. Ideally, your best situation is if you get your credit score of 700 or 800 or higher. Usually if you're in that 720 or higher, you're in that top tier, and that's where ideally you're going to want to be. But if you're above a 620 is generally pretty decent enough to get you qualified for a mortgage. There's some banks will even do a little bit less than that, so it really depends on the bank. I really recommend is whoever your personal banking's through, check with them, see what type of programs they have, but also shop around, and that's the big thing too. See what it's out there. One of our folks who bought their house went through Quicken Loans. Mm-hmm. So Quicken Loans, they use a whole bunch of different ones, I guess. and it was pretty easy. So I'd really recommend doing that. Pardon me, wait, my drink.
I need a little water. Thanks so much again, everybody hopping on. I'm seeing a lot of comments. If you're joining us, we were asking anyone who's looking for a rent to own, or you know somebody that's looking to own their own home, possibly rent to own, where should we be looking? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Thank you so much. We're just kind of getting a feel for that, because that was one of the questions, is how do we buy properties? And we're always looking, and we want to know what you're looking for, because we could come across the perfect home today. We never know.
Right. And the thing is too, is between the marketing we do, we've got a lot of wholesalers who call us. I had one yesterday. Between that, we spend a ton of money on different ways of marketing to attract buyers, or sellers, I'm sorry. We want to attract sellers who want to sell their home that we can buy, and then obviously they're going to need some work generally most of the time, that we could turn around, make them beautiful, and then obviously show you what we have. So
Awesome. So back to the credit talk. I feel like it's a very popular topic, understandably so. Let's say you have a low credit score. How do I improve it? What's kind of like your top tips here to improve a credit score?
So your first one is your credit cards. Your credit cards, you're going to want to keep your balances low. So credit cards are good and bad. A lot of times if you're maybe newer to credit, younger, or haven't had a lot of credit, they're going to give you a very low limit. Maybe you have a $500, maybe you have a $1,000 limit. But if you have a $500 limit and you spend, say, $300, that card is 60% full. Now, when anything over 30% full will lower your credit score. So for easy numbers, if you have a $1,000 credit limit and you went out and spent $600, $700, $800, well, you're going to be in a higher tier. Your credit score is going to dip from that. If you have a $1,000 limit and you spend $200, it's going to be fine for your credit. It'll actually help your score stay nice. Then making sure you're paying everything on time. If you don't have enough money to pay off the entire credit card, you at least need to make sure your minimum payments are being made on time. And as long as you don't have any 30-day, 60-day late payments, because that stuff stays in your credit report for 7 years. So as long as you don't have any of that and you're paying all of your current bills on time, which is important, and then those credit cards knock down those balances, between that's going to be your best case to get your credit, your scores up there. And then find out if you have anything bad on your credit. You know, could be collections, could be judgments. And if you do, you can see if those are valid or not. And if they're not, you can dispute them with the credit agencies. And that's why it's important to pull all 3 credit reports, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Pull all 3 of them and dispute whatever's on them, because they're going to have 30 days to take that and to investigate to see if it's supposed to be in your credit report, or they're going to take it off. And there's a lot of folks out there, they'll just keep on disputing time after time after time. And eventually, sometimes those will come off your credit report. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to that.
I feel like you need to scooch in a little more. You're kind of
I'm sorry, I'm disappearing.
All right, and then on that note, what about right now when we're in the middle of this COVID crisis and we've been laid off, or the money is not coming in? You know, things are just really funky right now. Is there anything that you could do to try to help credit cards, or, you know, the bills piling up?
Well, you know, we are in a really unique situation right now. So I would always recommend communication's key. If you've got laid off from your job, some folks are on split shifts, where maybe because of social distancing at work, they're only allowed to work certain days now. So they're not maybe putting in that typical how many hours a week they were used to. So if that's the case, you would want to reach out to your lenders, whether it's your mortgage, or it's a landlord, whether it's your auto loans or credit cards, and then let them know what's going on. Whether if you've got laid off because of this coronavirus, these banks are being helpful, and they're putting a lot of steps in place to help protect people. So they're trying to do the right thing, but if you don't call them, they're never going to know. So I really recommend calling them and letting them know what you're going through.
Awesome. I see a couple of questions coming through. Y'all have any more houses up for rent to own? And a couple more. So yes, we did touch on that. We still have 296 Conrad Drive in Greece. So cute. It's available, move-in
Right.
ready. So if that's something you're interested in, we will certainly chat after this is all wrapped up. We've got about 5 minutes left here in our little Jenn and Joe show. I think you're saying...
Seriously?
Yeah, 3:25. Well, 4 now. 4 minutes left. I think you're asking, Sandra, you're interested, so certainly we will message afterwards. We'll talk a little bit more.
And then about the odds of the FHA with their credit score. So that's why, that's why I always say shop around with banks, because there are some banks. I know Canandaigua National Bank's one of them. They actually have a program called Portfolio, where maybe if it's close but doesn't meet all the guidelines of FHA, they can still give you a mortgage. And that's why I was saying it's important to kind of check around, because with those programs, who knows what they're going to put them to. They could make it a little easier to try to stimulate the economy and drop that score back down. It's really hard to say. So if that's the guidelines you're going to try to go by, there's workarounds to still get that done.
Awesome. If any other questions, go ahead and drop them below as we start to wrap up. We also are asking, if you've joined us, where you would like to own a house. What areas of Rochester? Greece, Hilton, Spencerport, Victor?
I would check Canandaigua National Bank, but with the coronavirus going out right now, I will say there's a lot of lending institutions that are just a little gun shy right now, because they don't know what's going on. I will say that's a good word to say. However, it's going to turn around. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end.
The setback is getting, or what is it? The setback? Preparing you for the setup or something? I'm not botching that quote, but basically, yeah, it's going to turn around. Don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you.
You are laughing at me.
I'm laughing with you.
Oh, guys, it's been like 5,000 trillion days in quarantine. And this weather, right? Oh my goodness. Webster. All right, awesome. I've seen Webster.
Penfield.
Wayne County came up too.
So yeah, we'll definitely be looking in those neck of the woods. So stay tuned. Like the page, 585 Rent to Own. Follow us there. You can stay tuned on all of the newest listings. The minute we have something, we'll put it up. And a lot of times you get to see it being transformed in from what it was to the beautiful house they are when they're finished. So
thank you, Trish. The comeback is greater than the setback. Thank you.
There you go.
You help me out. You never know what's gonna twist up in my mind here.
Okay, so next Thursday?
Next Thursday seems to work.
3 o'clock.
You know, I know we've got a lot going on. No, we're busy, but we enjoy this so much. And the questions, if you think of one, shoot us a message, comment below. We're really just loving connecting with everybody here.
Yeah, and then obviously too, send us some questions if you have some for next Thursday at 3 o'clock. Love to answer them. And if you think of anything throughout the week, we could get on a call if there's a house that you'd like to see. Maybe you've got a nice down payment. Get a hold of us. There's still, like I said, workarounds away with videos and technology now. We can still show the house, and then if you love it and it sounds like it's a go, we can set up a showing. So
she's got a great question. I want to end on this one. So if there's a house that seems vacant, are you able to see if it's going to be on the market soon?
That all depends on the current owner and the situation with that house. It is possible. What we would have to do is we'd have to track down the current owner, find out if it's a person, maybe it was a foreclosure and it went back to the bank, because sometimes these banks will sell in these houses for, it could be years, which is awful because they just kind of fall apart and go bad. So
sit there. It's horrible.
So yeah, we could find out who the current owner is, and if it's somebody who owns it, or maybe it was an inheritance, somebody inherited a house and they don't live in town. We've had that happen too, with one of the houses that we bought. So yeah, we'd have to find that out. So if you have a house and you know somebody who is selling a house, send us a link, drop it in here, and if we end up buying it, we pay you $500.
Yeah, so if you see a vacant house that came to mind, that's why you're asking, certainly write down the address. Make sure you have the street address on it and where it's located. That's most important, the number on the house and then the street, the name of it itself. And then from there, we could do a little detective work, hopefully, if you don't know the person, kind of see what happens.
So, great question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Keep them coming, guys. It is our half an hour slot. So.
I can't believe how fast it goes.
Great job. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, if you've been eyeing, absolutely send us a private message. Certainly, we'll be right with you as soon as we wrap everything up. We also, I'm just going to throw it out there, we started the YouTube channel, so we're going to save these and it'll be there, and hopefully we can keep them in order, because I know Facebook is kind of funky. It's like all in our page, so I will share that as well.
Yep, perfect.
He's home to help me out. So stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive, guys. We are thinking of all of you, and thanks so much.
All right, see you next week, guys.
Bye.